Okay, so I'll share the slide for this week's notes. Okay, right. The topic will be the electric potential energy, and the capacitance. Okay, so if you look carefully, this is about electric potential energy, and also capacitance. Before this, okay, we already learned the electric force, okay, the electric charge, electric force, and also electric field. And also part of it is electric flux. Okay, so right now we want to continue in terms of electric potential. Okay, what is electric potential? Okay, what is electric potential energy? Okay, it's quite the same, but the difference is the terms energy. And what is capacitance? So we will see inside these topics. Okay, so this should be in your chapter 16 in your survey textbook. Okay, right. So let's start the class with the units of chapter. These are the units of chapter 16, which we have electric potential energy and electric potential. So in order to learn electric potential, we need to learn first the electric potential energy, because that's how it comes from. And we should know about energy conservations. Okay, energy conservations. Okay, we also have to know about electric potential of a point charge. What is the difference between the electric potential on this part to this part? Okay, what's the difference? And we also want to know about the equipotential surface and the electric field. And lastly is we want to learn about the capacitors and the dielectrics. And together, because if we learn dielectrics and capacitor, okay, we also have to learn about electrical energy storage. Okay, so these are the learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to define, okay, these are terms. Okay, define the electric potential and the electric potential energy at any point around the charge. Okay, understand the concepts of energy conservation. Understand the concept of energy conservation. I believe that we already learned the energy conservation during our first semesters. Okay, so these are the energy conservation. And how about calculate the electric potential? Then again, okay, electric potential. So you only need to calculate the electric potential. What is the difference between electric potential and the one that we learned last week? Okay, so we already learned about force, and we already learned about field. And what is electric potential? I give you hint. It's all about V. Okay. Okay, so in if you do a quick recap, a force will give you Newton. Okay, electric field will give you Newton per coulomb. And can you guess what is the units for electric potential? Yeah. Okay, so let's look afterwards. Okay, right. So just do some recap. So just recall from the last semesters that we learned about work and kinetic energy. Okay, we learned about the negative work is done. What is the negative work? What is the positive work? And how can we say when the work is zero? Okay, so all right. So let's do a simple okay, simple scenario like the one happens to the Newtons. Okay, I'm not sure whether is it true or not, but based on these figures, we can say that on these figures first, on the left figures, okay, so you can see that the apples, okay, drop from the tree and falls into the heads of Isaac Newton. Okay, and we can say that the force is in the directions of the displacement. Okay, the force is in the directions of the displacement. And what is the what is the meaning of the force when it is in the directions of the displacement? So the positive work is done on the apple. The positive work is done on the apple, and this causes the apple to speed up. Okay, so in order to do that, okay, so this what they are trying to say, that when we have a positive work done, is due to the direction, because of the force have the same direction as the displacement. Okay, the positive work done is because of the force, okay, is in the directions of the displacement. Okay, so that's why we can say that we can have a positive work done. All right, and because of that, if he toss back the apple, okay, goes up there, okay, he toss back, he toss up the apple, dia balik ke atas. Okay, what happened is there are still force that's going down. Okay, the force is still going down due to the gravitational force. Okay, but the displacement right now, yeah, is considered as against the force. The force is going down due to the gravitational here, okay, but the displacement is going upwards. So right now we can see that, okay, the negative work done on the apple. Okay, so this bring up to this part where we want to learn what is the electric potential energy and also the electric potentials. Okay, so let's move to the part where we want to move. Okay, we want to move a charge inside the electric field. So remember, the purple color is the electric field. Okay, the electric field, and we have a charge, a positive charge to be exact, or positive charge to be exact. So let's imagine that the positive charge, where we learned on the previous chapters, the positive charge will have a force. Okay, where the positive charge will have a force, that force should follow the electric field, because due to the positive charge. The positive charge has a properties that when it has a force, the force should follow the electric field's direction. Okay, but in this case, we want to bring up. Okay, we want to make the positive charge against the directions of electric field. If in this case the directions of electric field is going downwards position, and we want to against we know that the force is always good, will follow the force of the positive charge will follow the electric field, but we want to make it against the directions of electric field. Okay, so in this case we want to bring up like the one that have a dotted line, a green dotted line. So saying that we want to bring up, okay, we want to bring the positive charge up, okay, against the electric field. So what happened is, try to imagine on this part, the one that on your right, when this man happens to have, let's say if he can hold to the one ball. Let's say if you are holding a ball, that the ball is going, the ball have a gravitational force. So this should be the gravitational force, but he wants to make sure that, okay, the ball is against the gravitational force. Okay, the ball is against the gravitational force. Why does he wants, or why does we want to make sure the positive charge against the electric field? Okay, because this is something that we want to learn about electric potential energy. If we know, if you can notice here, the one that happens on this part, okay, I want to use another color. Okay, on this part, okay, the potential energy on the initially and potential energy final, okay, is the potential energy final is greater compared to potential energy initial. PEF is greater compared to PEI. Why? Due to the formula of MGD or MGH, because electric potential energy is MGH. or MGD according to this survey book. Okay, they use MGD. D means a displacement from one point to another point. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have increased the potential. When we bring up something against the gravitational force, against the electric field, we actually can make it we can make the potential energy. Okay, use the word potential energy. We can make a potential energy becomes greater. Okay, so in this case, if a positive test charge is moved upward, as in figure A, like this part, okay, we can say that electric potential of the system is increased. Okay, because that's why we want to make it against the electric field. Okay, so all right, let's consider this one. Okay, consider a uniform electric field E as shown in figures, a positive test charge, as I should mention again. So we will have a test charge, and the properties of the test charge is like a behavior of the positive charge. So that's why they are calling a positive test charge. Okay, a positive test charge, meaning that we put a positive value to the test charge, and we want to know what happened. Okay, obviously the positive test charge will have a force that going the same direction, parallel the same direction as the electric field. Okay, remember one thing, the force for the positive charge will follow the electric field. Okay, so on this part we want to go against the electric field. We want to go up against the electric field so that we can increase the potential energy. Because we know this is potential energy for initial, and I have a potential energy final. So there are two different values for potential energy initial and final. The final should be greater compared to initial. Why? Because we already increase, because they go against the some force. Okay, so when we go against some force, in this case the electric force, okay, not the one that we did on human, when human try to bring up the ball. So the ball will give you a different potential energy, okay, due to the different in H. But in here we can see the different things. Okay, it experienced a downward electric force, okay, due to that because of the force of a positive charge will follow the electric field. So that's why dikatakan a downward electric force here. Okay, so if the charge is moved upward through a distance d, the electric force F and the displacement d are in the opposite direction. These are the keywords, opposite directions. Hence, work done is W is W is negative. Okay, we are saying that the work done W is negative because it is against the force. Okay, against the force. Therefore, we can say that W is equivalent to negative Q not ED. Negative Q not ED. Why can we get this kind of equations? Okay, so it's all started with this equations of work done. Okay, work done is W equals to FD. Just make it simple. W equals to FD. And we know that F is equivalent to, according to the electric force, F equivalent to E over Q naught. So what is E? Okay, E over Q naught. Sorry, F equivalent to EQ naught. EQ naught. Okay, F equivalent to EQ naught because E equals to F over Q naught. Okay, so that's why we try to replace the F with the EQ naught. So we bring up here to get EQ naught D. Okay, EQ naught D. But as I said, okay, the work according to what happened to the Isaac Newton in my previous explanation, okay, in the previous slide, it stated that okay, when we go against the gravitational, the work is negative. The work done is negative, so we should put a negative value. So therefore, now we have W equals to negative E Q naught D. Then the change in electric potential is okay. So from the terms of work done, okay, the work done, okay, you should remember one thing, okay, when we talk about electric potential energy, okay, so the electric potential energy is delta U. This is the electric potential energy. Okay, it's the same goes as the electric potential. The keywords is the electric potential, but the keywords is potential energy. Okay, you know that potential energy, when you have ball with mass and gravity, so it becomes mgh. Okay, but why can we get mgh exactly? So this is due to because of we have F equals to mg. So if we try to simplify, or we try to put this value inside the W, so W is work done is equivalent to FD. So remember, when you replace this one to the F, then it becomes mgd. Okay, so that's how we get work done. Okay, how can we get work done? So what is the difference between potential energy? So potential energy using with the mass and gravity, so we can use mgd. But in terms of electric potential energy, then we should replace the force here to the one that I just explained just now. So we should replace it with F equals to E Q naught. So we replace this thing into mg, and then it becomes EQD. So it is equivalent to EQD for the work done. And in fact, you should know something, that the electric potential energy, when we go against the electric potential energy, then the work is negative. So the increase in the potential energy, it will be the decrease in the work done, because the work done will be negative when it goes up against the potential energy. So the one that you should remember, that delta U, or should I call that as an electric potential, is equivalent to negative W. And we know that we already established the W as EQD. Okay, negative EQD. So we already discussed about W. W is negative EQ naught D. So that's how they got positive. So in the end, delta U is EQD. And with the gravitational potential energy, the electric potential energy potential can be set to 0 at any desired locations. Just as it was useful to define the electric field, it is useful to define the electric potential. So there are similar things, okay? When we talk about electric potential energy, remember what is electric potential energy? So should be delta U. And what is the value? The value should be EQD. Okay, for the system where we have positive charge that go against the electric field. Remember, a positive charge go against the, so this one is for a positive charge go against E. Okay, so that should be the delta U, that equivalent to EQD, where the positive charge go against the electric field, right? So in the, when we are using delta U equals to EQD, so which can, okay, there's some definitions about electric potential. Remember, on this part, we want to learn about electric potential energy, and also the difference between electric potential energy and the electric potential. It's quite the same, but the electric potential energy is something's different. I already give you a hint about electric potential. It's all about V. And if you look carefully, the electric potential energy, electric potential have a unit volt. Do you see what is the volt? Okay, maybe you remember about voltage. So that is how they got voltage. So the electric potential is actually a potential difference In a circuit, we call that a potential difference, and maybe for advanced, we call that as voltage. So it's all the same. Electric potential, potential difference, voltage is all about volts. The unit is volts. Okay, or the SI unit for the is the joule per coulomb. All right, so delta V is what? Is the electric potential. So the electric potential is given by the equations of delta U over Q. Okay, delta U over Q. We already know delta U is our electric potential energy. So this is electric potential. Remember, can we use another? This is electric potential. Okay, remember the word is electric potential, and this part is where electric potential energy. Different thing because it contains energy. And because of that, okay, the units for electric potential energy should be joule. Joule. While for the electric potential, the unit should be volts. Capital V, okay, capital V or joule per coulomb. Okay, why joule per coulomb? Because delta U joule and Q is coulomb. Joule per coulomb, or you can say as volt. Right? So a commonly used unit in energy in the atomic system is the electron volt. So normally in the atomic part, the atomic is really small compared to the one that we live now. So the atomic level we cannot see is very discrete. It's in the we use normally the energy is in the unit of electron volt. So what is electron volt? 1 electron volt is considered as this what 1.6 10 power of negative 19 coulomb. For those who can remember, these are the magnitude of charge. The magnitude of charge of the electron should be exact of the electron. And with times with 1 volts, so it can get 1.6 10 power of negative 19 joules. So in the end, we should say that 1 electron volt is equivalent to 1.6 10 power of negative 19 joule. Okay. Okay, do you have any questions so far? So far, so good?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
so far so good.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. All right. Okay, let's continue back. All right. So consider a test charge Q naught that moves through a distance delta S, or okay, a simple displacement in the directions of electric field. As I'm saying before this, okay, we actually have positive charge. Okay, let's say this is your electric field. So we have a positive charge that goes against the electric field, goes up, goes against the electric field. What happened now, if we want to see what happened if we can state or we can make the positive charge, okay, let's say the positive test charge, move through a certain distance in the directions of electric field. So before this, we discussing about the positive charge that goes against the electric field. Right now, we want to see what is the positive charge that goes in the directions of electric field. Okay, let's do some recap. Okay, so for the positive charge that goes against the electric field first, okay, so we are already established about delta U. Delta U equivalent to, okay, EQD. And then we can say that delta V is equivalent to, right, delta U over Q. So it can happen EQD over Q. So we can, and then we can get delta V equivalent to E dot D. Okay, E dot D. Okay, so the two main things we should know. So delta U and also delta V. Right? So but for the charge that go in the line in the directions of electric field, what happened? Okay, first of all, okay, the positive work done. Okay, it should follows the positive work done. So what happened is we want if delta U before this delta U is equivalent to negative W. For this part, for the positive charge that go against the electric field. Right now we have a positive charge that follows the electric field. What happened is delta U equals to positive W. So delta U equivalent to negative EQD. Okay, negative EQD. Okay, because why? Before this, negative W, because W is the negative work done. In here, we get negative work done, right? But here we have a positive work done. Okay, so delta U is equivalent to negative W always. Yeah, delta U is always negative W. Same happens to be here, but in here work is negative, but in here work is positive. So work is positive, it doesn't cancel out the negative, right? So delta U equivalent to negative EQD. And what happened is if we put a delta V equals to delta U over Q. So what happened? We have negative EQD over Q, and then it becomes a delta V equivalent to negative ED. Delta V equals to negative ED. So on this part, we have V equals to negative E dot D, and we also have V equals to ED. Okay, so on the safe side, this should be for the positive charge follow E, and this one is against E. Okay, you should differentiate between both cases. Okay, this is for positive charge only. Positive charge only. Okay, for the negative charge, okay, we know the negative charge will have a force that go against the electric field always. Okay, the negative charge will always have a force that goes against the electric field. So if you want to make it go against the electric field or what, let's consider everything. But this is happen to the positive charge when we have both cases. Okay, first it go against the electric field for the positive charge, and the one right now, okay, we are discussing about the positive charge that goes follows the electric field. So there are two terms in here. Okay, one with the negative, one is with the positive. When we go against, so it should be V equals to ED. When we go follow the electric field, it should be negative ED. Simple. Okay, so V is electric potential, E is the electric field, and D is the displacement. Okay, and the unit for V, okay, as I mentioned earlier, is maybe we can use joule per unit coulomb. Okay, V can be considered as, okay, we can talk about joule per coulomb J. C. Maybe we can write down as volt or V, capital V, capital V. Or maybe we can write down as what? Okay, so there are two different things about V. How about E? Okay, E. So based on this part, okay, based on these both equations, we can state that, okay, that E, okay, before this we learned about KQ over R squared, where we actually get Newton per coulomb, okay, for the units. And right now, V is we can also obtain E using electric potential. So we can rearrange this equation. Okay, rearrange this equation to become E equivalent to negative V per D, or V is in the volt per meter. So we can see, okay, there are two different unit for E. Maybe we can write down as Newton per Coulomb, and we can also write down as volt per meter. Volt per meter. So there are two different units for electric field, but both are electric fields. Okay, remember, both still electric field. Okay, it doesn't, or this one is considered no, it's not electric field because the unit is different. No, okay, it's either Newton per Coulomb or volt per meter when you look at the questions. Okay, later on maybe you get confused here and there, so you look at the unit, maybe Newton per Coulomb or volt per meter, both are the electric field. Okay, so you should remember this thing. Newton per Coulomb, volt per meter is all about electric field. Newton is only for force. Volt is for electric potential, or maybe joule per second, joule per Coulomb is also electric potential. Okay, joule only is for electric potential energy. Okay, so there are the two different things about electric potential energy. All right, so what is the significance when we learn about electric potential energy? Okay, first of all, when we considering a parallel plate capacitor, these are the parallel plate capacitor. When we have two different parallel plate that contains different charge. Okay, different charge. On the left side, we have a positive charge. Okay, positive charge. And on the left side, we have, right side, we have a negative charge. Okay, we have a negative charge. Remember, okay, the positive, when we learn in the electric field, okay, the electric field line will always pointing that the positive charge will have lines that goes away from them. Okay, like here. Okay, this is the positive charge. You can see that the purple color line is always going away from the positive charge. Look, okay, each positive charge on the parallel plate is considered as positive charge. Okay, okay. You look at the electric field. The electric field is always pointing into the other things. So in this case, they're always pointing to the negative charge, because on the negative charge side, we can see that electric field lines is always going inward, not outward. So this is considered outward. This is considered inward, going into them. Right? So that's how we can see that electric potential is going from the positive plate to the negative plate. And the electric potential, okay, happens to be decreased as one move in the directions of electric field. So we can maybe we can look at the different, maybe we can draw an imaginary line like this. Okay, we can draw an imaginary line. Okay, a different imaginary line. Okay, these are the potential. So let's say if you have a 12-volt batteries, maybe on the first part, okay, on the parallel plate, it's a 12-volt batteries. But during to this part, we can see that there are 0 volt. Okay, 12 volt, 0 volt. So that's how we can draw a graph. Maybe a graph. Let's say this is a 12-volt batteries, and as it move, okay, as the distance increase, okay, the potential also decrease. Okay, it's quite vice versa. As the potential, as the electric field move, or as the distance increase, the potential decrease. Okay, so it started with the 12-volt batteries, and maybe here we can get 12, okay, maybe 10, 8, okay, 6, 4, and so on, and becomes 2 and 0. So that's how it decreased. So we can plot this one inside the electric potential versus distance, and we can see that the potential decrease as one move in the directions of electric field. Okay. All right. So let's look at this very good examples. This is not in your textbook, but you can look at this example. Okay. A uniform electric field is established by connecting the plates of a parallel plate. Okay, look at the words that are used. A uniform electric field is established by connecting the plates of the parallel plate capacitor to a 12-volt batteries. Okay, so it connected to the 12-volt batteries. So meaning that this is the electric potential. Okay, electric potential. If the plates are separated by 0.75 centimeters, what is the magnitude of the electric field? Okay, remember, underline these words. Okay, magnitude of the electric field. They want to know about the electric field. Remember, we learned electric field on the first chapter, but right now, okay, electric field also happens to be on this part. Why? Because we right now are currently using electric field. We use a lot of electric field because we want to consider electric potential. Okay, because when we talk about electric potential in this chapter, we learn about electric potential. Okay, it happens that there are some similarities between electric potential and electric field. Okay, like now I have proven to you that the E is equivalent to negative V per D. Okay, negative V per D. So that's how they got electric field. They got the some relation between electric field and electric potential. Okay, remember electric field something else E. Okay, electric potential is V. Okay, don't get confused, please. Okay, please note that in your mind. What is electric force? What is electric field? What is electric potential? Okay, they use the same terms of electric, but okay, at the end they use force, field, potential. Okay, all are different things. All right. So on part A, they want to know the magnitude of electric field. So we can use this equation. E equals to, maybe you remember V equals to negative E, because right now we have a positive charge that comes from the positive plate into the negative plate. So we show negative EQ, negative ED. Okay, V equals to negative E dot D. So right now you want to know what is E. E is equivalent to negative V per D. Negative EV per D. But right now we have electric potentials. Okay, we have electric electric field, electric potential, and displacement. Okay, it happens in the questions. We have 12-volt batteries. Okay, the 12-volt batteries is a potential difference. Potential difference. Okay, potential difference meaning that delta V. Delta V is 12 volt. Regardless of 0 minus 12 or 12 minus 0, delta V is 12 volts. Meaning that they have 12 volt. So from positive to negative terminal, there are two different values of potential. See, on the positive part, they have 12 volt. On the negative part, they have 0 volts. So where is your destination? It started with the positive and it goes to the negative plate. So 0 minus 12, now it becomes negative 12. So delta V is 0 minus 12, it becomes negative 12. So we put the negative 12 over here, and the negative meets another negative. We cancel out the negative. And remember, the displacement given in the question is 0.75 centimeters. So we should change this to meters. Remember to do that, okay? And of course, we get 1,600 volt per meters. Okay, for the first question is done. Right, on the part B, a charge of 6, positive 6.24, 10 power of negative 6 coulomb move from the positive plate to the negative plate. Again, move from the positive plate to negative plate. Okay, so find the charge, the change in the electric potential energy for this charge. The electric potential energy, as I mentioned, is all about delta U. So delta U equivalent to Q times delta. We know delta V over is equivalent to delta U over Q. Okay, so delta U is delta V times Q. So use the same value, 6.24 of delta V. Q, 6.24 10 power of negative 6 as the magnitude of charge, times with delta V. Delta V is considered as negative 12. And the value should be negative 7.5, 10 power of negative 5 joule. Look at the unit used, joule, because they want to find electric, okay, underline this thing, electric potential energy. Okay, so don't get confused between electric potential energy and also electric potential. Electric potential, volts. Electric potential energy, joule. Okay, volts and joule. Okay, right. So that will be the first examples. Now let's move to another examples. Okay, find the electric field and the potential difference. Okay, the electric potential at point B. Okay, look at where is the point B here. Okay, closer to the negative plate, right? This is the point B. In the parallel plate capacitor shown here is less than the electric potential at point A by 4.5. Okay, so point A and point B they calculated earlier. Okay, and they know that the difference at point B and point A is point B is less 4.5 than A. The separation between point A and point B is 0.12 centimeters. Okay, point A and point B, we have 0.12 centimeters. And the separation between the plates is 2.55 centimeters. Find A, the electric field within the capacitor. And how to solve this one? Okay, all right. So we know the equations of, okay, it still move from the positive charge to the negative, positive plate to the negative plate. So we can say that E is equivalent to negative V per D. And how to use negative V? So negative V is now considered as, okay, V delta V is what? Is a negative 4.5, so it becomes negative 4.5 volts. Okay, and we bring up this negative 4.5 into the equation, so we cancel out the negative, and the distance is between 0.12 centimeters. Remember to change it to 0.12 to the meters. Okay, and then we can get a 3750 volt per meter. Okay, 3750 volt per meter. And of course, on the part B, the potential difference between the plates, the potential difference, okay, the potential difference between the plates. So meaning that they want to know what is the full potential for this part, okay, the full potential. So how can we do that thing? Okay, so we already have delta V. Okay, delta V considered as E, negative ED, negative ED. All right, so how can we solve that? E is 3750. Now D is the distance between the both plates are plates, 2.55 centimeters. So you should put these things is 2.55 centimeters that can be converted to meters. Okay, with that things, then we can say that the potential difference is, okay, negative 95.6. Okay, when we did the examples, please try on your own. Okay, take out your calculator, take out your piece of paper, whatever, then you have to do it with, all right, to do it together, so you know how to when you punch in your calculator, okay, there will be negative or positive. Okay, the negative or positive of the value is very important because it will tell you that the positive charge is going against or follows the directions of electric field. So that is very significant. So that's why you need to put that. If the negative, then you put negative. If positive, then you put positive. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's take a break for a while. Maybe you want to ask me anything, then okay, afterwards. Maybe do 1 or 2 minutes break. Okay, so we will continue back. All right, so these are the energy conservation, right? The energy conservation. So what is energy conservation? Okay, when we talk about energy, we should remember about potential energy. Okay, the discussion about potential energy and how it can relate to the kinetic energy. Okay, because when we talk about conservation, conservation means conserve. Okay, from the word, it comes from the word conserve, meaning that it cannot be destroyed. Okay, it cannot be destroyed. We can only be transferred. Okay, so we can say that the there are some what you call that as we move. Let's say if we try to move the ball or we drop the ball, so we can say that when we are trying to drop the ball, okay, the potential energy will decrease. Okay, the potential energy will decrease, and at the same time, okay, at the same time, the kinetic energy increase. So when something decrease, something will increase. So we can say that PE, potential energy, and kinetic energy is quite complementary to each other. Okay, and in overall, the potential and kinetic energy is how we can say that the total energy is conserved. That the value of energy is still the same, but from potential, it's been transferred to kinetic. And what can we say about electric potential energy? Okay, when we talk about electric potential energy, okay, when the charge Q not move in the directions of electric field, the electric potential energy decreases. Okay, so something we should know: electric potential energy decreases. At the same time, kinetic energy increases. Okay, the total energy is still conserved. So as the positive charge move, okay, move in the the same direction as electric field, you can say that here the potential energy, the electric potential energy will be decreased. Okay, and as the potential energy, the electric potential energy, okay, remember this is comes to word electric potential energy decrease, and of course the kinetic energy increase. These are the total energy. Okay, when we talk about energy conservation. Okay, in general, for a mass moving from A to B due to a conservative force, so we can look at here that we have a half mva squared. Half mva squared is called kinetic energy. Okay, half mv squared is the kinetic energy. And how about UA? UA is what? UA is the potential energy. And to be on the specific, is the electric potential energy. And on the right side, okay, is equivalent to half mvb squared plus ub. So this part is also pe plus ke. So you can, okay, when you have an electric force, so U equivalent to QV, okay, U equivalent to QV, then you put inside the equations, and what happens is that we can easily can reduce the equation to this part. Okay, when we have a half mvb squared, okay, is equivalent to half mva squared plus q va minus vb. Okay, va minus vb. So we bring out, okay, we bring the ub to the left side, and you can say ua plus minus ub. So you can easily factorize it. Okay, because q is the same, okay, magnitude is the same. The difference is just potential at point A and also potential at point B. So like the one in the examples here. Okay, so in atom smasher, also known as cyclotrons and linear accelerators, charged particles are accelerated in much the same way they are accelerated in TV tubes. Okay, through a potential difference. So we use a potential difference to accelerate the atoms in the TV tubes. Suppose a proton, okay, a proton is a positive charge, is injected at a speed of 1 times 10. So this should be the V for proton. Okay, V for proton, which means 1 times 10 power of 6 meter per second between two plates. Between two plates, 5 centimeters apart. Okay, these are the different between. So one is high potential and one is low potential. So as shown in figures, the protons subsequently accelerate across the gap and exit through the opening. Okay, what must the electric potential difference be if the exit speed is to be 3 times 10 power of 6? Okay, what must be the electric potential difference? Okay, remember, okay, underline the keywords here, electric potential difference. So they want to know about V, okay, about electric potential. Okay, if the exit speed is to be 3 times 10 power of 6 meter per second. Okay, so right now we can look at, we can we can state the energy conservation, KE plus PE, delta KE plus delta PE. So delta KE, then we can state a delta KE. Okay, this is the very simple one. Okay, they use a delta, meaning that the delta is actually KE final minus KE initial. So that's with the PE. PE also we have PE final minus PE initial. But they didn't put that, they just put a KE and also PE. Okay, but at the PE, okay, we can change this to the electric potential because right now we want to find what is the potential. Okay, but potential now is the difference, right? So potential difference, so Q delta V, Q is always the same, and the factor now is just we want to make sure what is delta V. Okay, delta V, because we want to make sure what is the what must the electric potential. Okay, and the L delta KE, okay, we can use that value. Okay, final is 3 times 10 power of 6. Okay, here we can use this value inside this part. All right, and we can use the initial one, this one, on here. And okay, and mass of the proton, okay, you can refer it to the appendix, which is in this case they are given to you 1.6 10 of the power of negative 27 kilogram. Okay, and Q is the magnitude, the charge magnitude 1.6 10 power of negative 9 coulomb. And then in the air we will get negative 4.18 10 power of 4 volts. Okay, 10 power of 4 volts. So that should be the potential difference. Okay, and part B, what is the magnitude of electric field between the plates? Okay, they want to know what is the magnitude of electric field. They want to know about E. So how about E? E equals to negative V over D. Okay, so negative V over D. We already calculated V. So right now, just put V inside that. We can get 8.36 10 power of 5 Newton per coulomb, or maybe volt per meter. It's up to you. Okay, they're given V and M, but they can write down as Newton per coulomb. Doesn't matter because all is possible for electric field. So don't worry about just write down the correct units. Okay, don't use another units because for electric field, Newton per coulomb or volt per meter only. Okay, there are no other units suitable for electric field. Okay, and then now we move to the electric potential of point charges. Okay, electric potential of point charges. So look at the keywords here, the electric potential. So they want to know about V. So what is V for a point charge? Okay, so consider this thing first. Okay, it's all happens here that the electric potential of a point charge is because of, let's say, if you want to bring up, okay, consider a point positive Q is fixed at the origin. Okay, let's say positive Q is fixed at the origin. In addition, a positive test charge positive Q naught is held at a rest point A. Okay, a rest point A, a distance RA from the origin. Distance, okay. In addition, a positive charge delta positive Q naught. Okay, you already have positive Q. Okay, and you add another positive test charge. Okay, positive test charge in between at the distance of RA from the origin. At this location, the test charge experienced a repulsive force. Because why? Because the test charge, we put a positive test charge, and a point charge is already positive. Okay, this one is already positive, and the test charge here they put positive. What happened is dia akan tendang. Okay, it will be a experience and repulsive force with the magnitude given by Coulomb's law. Okay, the test charge now is released at point A, and when it reach point B, its kinetic energy. Let's look at what happened when it reached at point B. Its kinetic energy will have increased by the same amount that is electric potential energy decrease. So electric potential energy will be decreased the same value as the kinetic energy increase. So the difference in the potential energy between point A and point B is considered as, okay, I will make it easier to you. Just use this one, V equivalent to KQR. Remember to look it carefully. This is electric potential. And you look in the electric potential, there are no modulus. No modulus. Okay, in bracket, no modulus. And no square of R. It's just KQ over R. KQ over R. Okay, let's do some comparison between electric force. Okay, the electric force is K, Q with the modulus over R squared. The unit is Newton. And how about E? E is the K, Q with the modulus over R squared. And the unit will be Newton per Coulomb or volt per meter. And how about electric potential? Electric potential, there are no modulus at Q and no square at R. Okay, and then the value should be volts. Simple, capital V, volts. Okay, so in this part, this is the vector quantity. This is electric field is also vector quantity, but for the electric potential, it is a scalar quantity. Okay, I put this as blue, scalar quantity. Remember, when we talk about scalar quantity, so we don't have to calculate, we don't have to mention about direction, because the scalar quantity is all about magnitude only. Okay, magnitude. Okay, doesn't use the equation, but there are no modulus. If there are no modulus inside Q, so meaning that the value can be negative. Okay, the value can be negative. You should put all signs to the Q. Maybe if we are using electric potential, then you should put as negative. When you use a positive charge, then you put a positive at Q. All right, so that you should remember. Okay, let's look at the examples. A 5 microcoulomb point charge is at the origin, and point charge Q2 is negative 2 microcoulomb. Okay, 2 microcoulomb. It's on the axis at 30 meters, as in figures. 30 meters is the coordinates. Maybe you can find out as X and Y. So it should fall on the x-axis at 3. Okay, if the electric potential is taken to be 0 at infinity, okay, they always tells you about a possibility of electric potential. Okay, electric potential definitely will be 0 at infinity. Okay, definitely electric potential will be zero at infinity at any cost, because we consider that at infinity everything will be that's undetermined. Okay, so if the electric potential is taken to be zero, so that's how they mentioned it earlier, taken to be zero at infinity. That means you cannot get this value again. Cannot get zero. You cannot get anything else except zero at infinity. Okay, for the electric potential. Find the electric potential due to these charges at point P with the coordinates of 0, 4 meters. Okay, so how to do that? Right, so we should calculate. Okay, on this, on our part, we should calculate what? We should calculate the electric potential. Look at here, underline the keywords. Okay, find the electric potential due to these charges at point P. So we want to calculate at point P, but okay, it happens that in this part, this is electric potential. So as I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, the electric potential is a scalar quantity. Okay, meaning that we don't have to mention about we don't have to bother about the direction. So when we don't bother about directions, we can easily calculate. Okay, let's look at how they calculated. So V1, okay, so it's about KQ1 over R1. Okay, so what is KQ1 here? This is Q1 and this is R1. R1 is 4. Okay, so you put that value, you get 1.12 times 10 power of 4 volts. Easy. Okay, do some simple calculation. But okay, there will be a time that you easily can get mistakes here by what? Okay, this is where you do the mistakes. Okay, because you already did the part where you already calculated electric force and electric field, all have a modulus. So you don't bother about the negative or positive. But in here, we bother about negative. Okay, as example, look at this part. -2 times 10 power of -6 coulomb. Okay, because that is the electric potential, no modulus. Okay, when we know modulus, we should put as negative. The value will be -0.36 10 power of 4 volts. Simple calculations. And of course, when you try to add these things, okay, because they want to know what is the electric potential due to these 2 point charges. So Vp is equivalent to V1 plus V2. Just do a simple addition to the value. Okay, and that's how the answer should be 7.6 10 power of 3. Remember, the unit is volt without no direction. Without direction. So you don't have to put the directions going to the left, to the right, or what. No. So that's how you must understand these 3 things: electric field, electric force, electric potential, because there are 3 different things, but falls under the same roof. Okay, so on part B, how much work is required to bring a third point charge? Okay, to bring a third point charge for microcoulomb from infinity to P. So right now, what can you do? You replace the P with the potential, with the charge for microcoulomb. Okay, what happened is they want to know how much work. Remember, we have how much work. We have a potential energy. So we can use the potential energy. The delta PE is equivalent to Q times delta V. Q times delta V. Okay, Q times delta V. So what is V? Okay, this is very important. We should calculate the electric potential at point P and also electric potential from the infinity, because the work required to bring third. Okay, so let's say this is your point P. Okay, so it brings another charge from infinity. Remember, when I talk about infinity, the electric potential, the electric potential at infinity will always be 0. Okay, so we bring out 0, so that's why the value from the previous A minus 0 times with the Q, 4 times 10 power of -6, when we get 3 times 10 power of -2 joule. Okay, so that should be the electric potential. Okay, now we have another electric potentials and looks at the examples here. Okay, suppose three protons lie on the x-axis at rest relative to one another at a given instant of time. If proton Q3 on the right is released, while the other are held fixed in place, find the symbolic expression for the proton speed at the infinity and evaluate this speed. So this kind of questions, okay, maybe will not be in at your level of how to solve the questions without values. Okay, okay. So just look at the questions and try to imagine and try to picture it. Okay, if we get this value, what happens? Okay, all right. So you can look at your own time. Okay. Okay. Maybe you can look at another examples. A charge Q 4.11 nanocoulomb is placed at the origin, and the second charge equal negative 2Q is placed on the x-axis at the location of x equals to 1 meters. Find the electric potential. Find the electric potential midway between the two charges. Okay, find the electric potential midway between the two charges. So how to solve that? Okay, again, they will use the Q over R. But in this thing, okay, we don't know how to put the midway between the charges, so we can assume. So one is x, one is 1 minus x, because the distance between this to this is 1 meter, and we don't know where to put the x, so we just put this is x, and this is 1 minus x, and then easily we can get V. Okay. And then part B, the electric potential vanishes at some point between the charges. That is for a value of x between 0 and 1. Find the value of x. Okay, again, we will use the same things. Okay, but right now we do some alterations to the equations where we already know about the electric potentials. Okay, but the electric potential vanish at some point between the charges. That is for value x between 0 and 1 meters. So what is x? We want to know what is x. Okay, a lot of equations. This one is also an equations that tells you about electric potential. You can do on your own, but this question doesn't give you value, so you can look at the how they represent themselves in terms of kinetic energy. Okay, so let's continue to the equipotential surfaces and the electric field. So actually in here, okay, in here we get to see a contour. Okay, a contour. What is contour? You can find out in the Google. The contour is actually when you look at the map. Okay, you look at the map, you can see a different values. Okay, you can see if there are some, okay, a hill like that. So you can see this one is steeper. Yang belah sini landai sikit. Okay, this is the peak. So you can see in the contour a simple like, okay, from the, okay, so this is the peak. This is the part where steeper, and tempat yang ini ialah landai, flattest. Okay, so it's actually a very good examples on how we can extend our knowledge in terms of equipotential surfaces. Okay, so what is equipotential surfaces? It is about electric potential, okay, and the electric field with that happens to get the electric field lines. Okay, we know that electric field, the charge itself, the charge of positive or negative will have its own electric field lines. Okay, for example, in this figure, we can see the positive charge in the middle. Okay, the positive charge will have a electric field line. This is the electric field line. Okay, electric field lines. Okay, and because of the positive charge, the electric field lines is going away. Is all we can say that is going outward from the positive charge. And if we can draw a negative charge, you can say that the electric field line is pointing towards the negative charge. It's not going away. Okay, but the one that we want to talk today is the equipotential surface. So what is the equipotential surface? So you look at the green color line. The green color line is here. So this is the equipotential surface. Okay, the equipotential surface. And as you look at the equipotential surface, you can see, okay, the line that towards the charge, towards the center, towards the going nearer to the charge, you can see that the line is actually closer compared to when it moves far away from the charge itself. You can see here it's more close. Okay, dekat-dekat, rapat-rapat. But compared to here, this part is a bit is a bit jarak. Okay, it's quite different in length between the one that get close to the positive charge and the one on the far side. Okay, on the far side, okay, and of course every lines, okay, every green lines has its own potential difference. Okay, you can see the positive charge. Okay, the lines that close to the positive charge will have its own different value of volts. Okay, as you can see here, we have 2 volts. Where here? This is the point of the 2 volts. 2 volts potential surface. And how about 1.5 volt? It should be here. Okay, when it get move away from the charge, okay, the potential difference will decrease. And at the far side, you can see only 1 volts. Okay, and you can predict that after a few times, okay, there will be no potential difference when it is quite far from the positive charge. Okay, so the closer yourself to be in the closer to the charge, the value of potential difference should be higher. When it get moved away from the positive charge, then the potential difference or the potential equipotential surface are exactly reduced in the value of potential difference. Okay. So we can say that the electric field is perpendicular to this equipotential surface. You can look here, electric field is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. These are the meaning of the electric field is perpendicular to the equipotential surface. And strongest where the lines are closest together. Okay, strongest is where? Here. Okay, in the first part where the line is closest together. Okay, this is for 2-point charges. When we have, let's look at the left side first. Okay, we have a two positive charge. Okay, 2 positive charge. And in the previous chapter, we learned about how to draw electric field lines for when we meet between 2-point charges, 2 positive charge. So it cannot intercept to each other. Okay, the purple lines cannot intercept each other because it's a positive value. But for the equipotential surface, look at the green line. Okay, equipotential surface. Okay, it's actually have some sort of blank area in the middle, but in the end, you can see that there are actually combines between them. So this is happens to be on the middle side. Okay, on the middle there are no potential at all. Okay, no potential at the middle between 2 point charges that have equal in sign. Okay, but we can say that the different again, it can still use the same properties. Okay, the line that close to the charge have a greater potential compared to the one that away from the charge. Okay, all right. So let's look at the figure B. You can see from the positive to the negative one charge. Okay, you can look at the electric field lines or the purple lines. Okay, the electric field lines and the equipotential surface. Okay, the equipotential surface for positive and negative. Against, okay, this is not about the lines, okay, but this is about equipotential surface. We want to know at that different surface there are different potential. Okay, so the equipotential surface for a uniform electric field, if the electric field is always perpendicular, okay, always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. As I mentioned in the previous slides, okay, when we try to connect between two parallel plate using the electric potentials, so you can say as the distance move, okay, as the distance or displacement increase, there are decrease in potential. You can look here. Okay, these are the imaginary line. Okay, you cannot see the line, and you also cannot see the electric field lines. But electric field, they use the highlighted one because they want to make sure you do understand. Okay, the electric field still flowing from the positive charge to negative charge. Okay, or positive plate to another negative plate. But we want to emphasize that on this part there are different in the potential, okay, because on the one that should have a closer path, okay, to the positive charge have 40 volts. Okay, then after you move away, it will be reduced to 10. It will reduce to 30 volt, and afterwards becomes 20, 10, and lastly it becomes 0. So that's how it works in terms of electric potential, but we cannot see the imaginary line. That we know when we have two parallel plate capacitors, you can see that the electric potential decreases as the distance increases. Okay, this is the difference between a uniform sphere with a uniform charge distribution. This is in terms of distribution. Okay, and you can see that the charge at the pointed end of the material will be more denser. Okay, more denser. Okay, lagi padat di bahagian itu. Di bahagian kawasan yang tertumpu. Okay, or pointed end, it should be more dense, more tense here. But when we have a uniform or maybe a symmetrical things, a uniform sphere, okay, all values will be spread, okay, will be distributed, okay, equally, okay, like this. Okay, maybe we take a break for 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes before we continue with the capacitor and dielectrics. Okay, so let's continue on the capacitor and dielectrics. Again, I want to emphasize on the capacitor, okay, because capacitor is the one, is not in the chapter 16. Capacitor is on the chapter 18, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 17 or chapter 18 in your survey textbook. But we put this unit of chapter into this part because we want you to see or to look at how we implement, okay, or how we apply the electric potential or electric potential energy inside the capacitor, because that's how we learn about capacitor. We use a lot of parallel plate capacitors applications when we try to discuss about electric potential energy. Okay, a capacitor is two conducting plates separated by a finite distance. Okay, a capacitor can store both electric charge and energy. Remember, it's not storing charge, it's also storing energy. Okay, and when the plates of capacitor are connected to the terminals of battery, they become charged. Okay, they become charged, connected to terminal battery. That's how we charge our handphone, we charge our electrical devices, because we want to make sure we store the charge and energy. Okay, one plate acquires of charge positive Q and the other is negative Q. Right, so a certain battery produce a potential difference between V, V between its terminal. When this battery is connected to a capacitor, a charge of magnetic Q appears on each plate. Okay, charge of magnetic Q. So if the different battery with the voltage 2 volt is connected to the same capacitor, the charge on the plates double in magnitude to Q. Okay, thus the charge Q is proportional to V. So we can say that Q and V are proportional to each other, but if we want to define the capacitance, okay, the capacitance is actually the properties of the capacitor, properties. Okay, we use the capacitance, C capital, okay, is equivalent to Q over V. Okay, C is capacitance, Q is the charge, and V is the potential difference, electric potential. So we have capacitance is equivalent to charge over electric potential, and the SI unit for capacitance are farad, F, capital F, okay, farad. A simple type of capacitor is the parallel plate capacitor. So we have a lot of types of capacitors in this world, but we want to focus on the parallel plate capacitor. So what is the parallel plate capacitor? Okay, it contains two plates. Okay, two plates that parallel to each other and have been apart for a certain distance. Okay, and the distance is there are two plates, okay, two parallel plates that contains positive charge on one plate and another negative charge on the other plates. Okay, so in this case we are noted that E, electric fields, okay, in the capacitance is maybe due to Q, a quantity of charge that goes through a permeability of free space using mu epsilon naught times A. Okay, A is the parallel plate capacitors area of the capacitors, and epsilon naught, you can say that is equivalent to a certain value inside the constant value. We have epsilon naught. Okay, in fact, if you take out your calculator, you can see that epsilon naught is actually at the back of your calculators cover. Okay, so the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor is given by C equivalent to epsilon naught A over D. Epsilon naught A over D. So this happens when we have E, this equation, and we try to bring out E equivalent to V over D. So what happens is, what is V? Okay, V according to the capacitor is what? So C equals to Q per V. V is equals to Q over C. Okay, Q over C. So we will take out C. Okay, we bring out V ke V, and then afterwards you can have E equals to epsilon naught A over D. Okay, epsilon naught A over D. All right. So the one that we should now is a parallel plate capacitor. The capacitance is either C equals to Q per V, or maybe we can use epsilon naught A over D. Again, epsilon naught is a constant value. Okay, just put you can refer to the appendix, and of course A is the surface area, and D is the distance between the capacitor, parallel plate capacitor. Okay. Maybe you can look at the here. Okay. A parallel plate capacitor has an area, so this should be an area. So underline, or maybe you can circle it. A plate separation, so this should be D. Find the capacitance. So epsilon naught A over D. Very easy. Okay, do some simple calculation. How much charge is on the positive plate if the capacitor is connected to 3-volt batteries? How much charge is on the positive plate? So we need to do some capacitance equals to Q over V. So Q equals to CV. Use the one that we calculated earlier, and then times with 3 volts. So you can get 5.31 10 to the power of negative 12 coulomb. Okay, on C, what is the charge? Calculate the charge density. Okay, calculate the charge density. So the charge density comes when we talk about how dense is the charge on the positive plate. How dense is the charge? How denser? So in this part, we need to use a sigma. Sigma equivalent to a magnitude of charge over area. Magnitude of charge over area. So we already calculated on part B where we have how much charge, and then over area. Area is 2 times 10 power of negative 4 to get 2.66 10 power of negative 8. Right? And on the last part is the magnitude of the electric field between the plates. Magnitude of the electric field between the plates. So you can use VD to get 3 times 10 power of 3 volt per meters. It's very straightforward. Okay, you need to emphasize on, first you need to understand the concepts of capacitance itself. Capacitance have both equations. We have E naught, epsilon naught A over D, and also we have Q over V. Okay, there are some another equations. So I don't want to go on that equations, but I want to go here. Okay, how can we increase, or how can we maximize the potentials of the capacitor? Okay, in between the capacitor, normally we put as vacuum. Okay, vacuum, but this one we implement dielectric. Okay, we introduce to you a dielectric. Okay, here on the original parallel plate capacitor is a vacuum here. Okay, this is a vacuum medium. Medium is vacuum, so meaning that there is no air in between the plates. Okay, but it's noted that if we want to increase, okay, we want to maximize the potentials of the capacitor, we need to put some dielectric. So what is dielectrics all about? So we put a dielectric in between the plates. This is the dielectrics. Dielectrics. What is a dielectric? So a dielectric is an insulator. So we put an insulators. We know that insulators is actually have a electron, but it doesn't move. It doesn't move freely. It's all it's all okay. And insulators contains electron, but the electron doesn't move freely. Okay, when a dielectric is placed in the electric field between the plates of a capacitor, the molecules of the dielectric tend to become oriented. So this is the original insulators. Okay, look at how bad is the arrangement of the electrons. So how bad is the arrangement of the atom? But when we put it inside the electric field, when it experiences an electric field in between the plate, okay, the molecules of the dielectric will tend to be oriented, okay, akan tersusun with their positive and okay, pointing towards a negative, and the negative end will point towards positive. It still follows the electric charge behavior. Since field line starts on positive charge and end on negative charge, we see that the number of electric field lines within the electric field is reduced. Okay, so first of all, we reduce the number of lines. We reduce the number of lines. Let's say on this part, you can see a lot of lines, but when we put the dielectric, now we reduce. Still there, but we reduce the number of lines. Okay, because of that, the strength of the electric field is less and the voltage between the plates is less as well. So the voltage will be reduced because of the electric field reduced. Okay, because we know that E is equivalent to V dot D, okay, or V equivalent to E D. Sorry if I missed. E equals to V equals to E per D. Okay, so E equals to VD. Okay. Okay, E equals to VD. So you can see that, right? So since V is smaller while Q remains the same, okay, Q remains the same, you can see that when the Q remains the same, the capacitance, okay, look at the capacitance, okay, capacitance C equals to Q over V. So when V reduce, what happens is the capacitance will increase because capacitance and voltage are inversely proportional, meaning this Q is the same, V reduce, C will increase. So when the capacitance increase, we are saying we are actually okay try to maximize the potential, maximize the capacitance. So in this case, okay, when we put the dielectric, we should change a little bit. Okay, change a little bit in terms of capacitance. So the capacitance right now, before this is epsilon naught A over D. So in the presence of the dielectric, so it becomes C equals to kappa epsilon naught A over D. We introduce, it's not K, it's kappa. Okay, kappa means the Greek notation, the kappa. So the kappa is the dielectric constant to be exact. Okay, so we can find that when we try to change the capacitance, it also change the electric field. You can see here that the electric field, the new electric field, can be calculated using when you introduce kappa. So this is the original E naught over kappa. So you can find the electric field, the new electric field, using the old electric field over kappa. And you can also easily calculate the new capacitance if you already know. So you can just multiply the old capacitance with the kappa. So new capacitance, time equivalent to kappa times with the C naught. C naught is your old capacitance. Alright, so it's quite clear right now when we have electric field and capacitance. Okay, these are the dielectric constant, so the examples of the dielectric constants. Okay, a lot of dielectric constants. Okay, you have air, right? You can see paper, polystyrene, pyrite, silicon oil, vacuum. Okay, vacuum. When you say vacuum, the dielectric constant is 1. Look at the value 1. Okay, so meaning that if we put a vacuum before this, so that's why C is equivalent to epsilon naught A over D. Okay, I think that is due to vacuum that times 1. Okay, but it doesn't affect the equations. So the vacuum value will be 1 for kappa. Okay, so that's how we can see that the normal parallel plate capacitor is C equivalent to epsilon naught A over D. Okay, but when we introduce a dielectric, then we should use several types of kappa. Okay, and these are the electrical energy storage. Okay, electrical energy storage for the electrical energy storage for the capacitors. Okay, so the U is equivalent to half QB. Okay, Q is the potential, Q is the charge, and V is the electric potential. And maybe you can write down as half CV square, or also you can do that as Q square over 2C. Half Q square over C. Okay, it is convenient. How can you use three different equations in order for us to calculate the electrical energy storage of the capacitor. Okay, as I mentioned, it's all about storing charge and also storing energy. Okay. Okay, we may come back to this part next week, inshallah. Right. So I think that's will be enough for today. Okay, thank you very much. Do you have a questions? Ada soalan?